Hello beautiful souls, this is Vanita Kumar, also known as Twin Flame Union, bringing you guys in this week's pep talk and empowerment. Twin flames, can runners and chasers reverse roles? The topic is exactly what it sounds like. It was actually requested to me by one of my viewers. She was looking for answers on this topic, and I guess she was going through something similar in her journey, and she wanted to know if that was a case for many. And I got the request a while back, but I had to actually sit with it, channel information and just see what seems to flood through. I will be expanding this topic in an article as well, and she is right. There are not much information out there on this topic. The reason being that not many people actually know that phase or what actually happens during that. It's easy to just say that they can switch roles, but how do they switch roles, or if they switch roles? So in this video, definitely I will dive deep into this, and we'll go over what this means, if that's something that you are experiencing or not experiencing. But before we actually begin to dive deep into this topic, let's hit it. And welcome back. For those that are new to this channel, welcome. Please do not forget to hit like, share and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any future videos. I have a whole bunch of guided meditations. There's more coming as I find time to script them and put them in, as well as the pep talk and empowerment, the Ava series, and of course the twin flame readings. These are all meant to help you in your journey, in whatever juncture of your soul's journey you are in. So, and it's not just exclusive for twin flames. If you're drawn to this channel, then there's obviously some reason why you are, so you might want to check out what my content is. I also have a website, so you can check out all my blogs there, because I go in depth in many topics. It's not just on twin flames. If you want to book any private sessions with me, you can do so as well. A link is in the description box. All that information is there in my website. You can book directly from my website after purchasing it. And I also want to add that 10% off Twin Flame Union sales also go to charity. So all that is there in my website. You can have a look at it. And if you want additional support, I do have all my social media accounts linked into the description box. You can check them out, and if you feel like you want to follow and get daily support, definitely join those as well. So today's topic, this was a viewer's request, and she was looking for basically answers to her dilemma. She was experiencing something very similar, and she wanted to know if there was actually more information on this topic, which is twin flames, runners and chasers, whether they actually reverse roles. So of course she couldn't find it, and she is right. There are not much information out there. The reason why being there's not many people that actually know what that actually means. It's easy to write in one sentence or two, that runners and chasers switch roles, but elaborate it, they have no idea what that is. So, and then that's one of the things that I always teach everybody, that just be mindful of what is out there, and discern what kind of information you are getting. Not everything is the holy grail. When I was in the beginning of my twin flame journey, I read that everywhere, and of course now those people are not even actually serving the mission. I don't know where they disappeared. They're not even existent. So it just goes to show that, fast forward more than 5 years later, in a simplest term, what I understand, and of course if I understand it any differently a few years down the road, as I advance in my journey, I will do another video. But at this point, 5+ years of being in a twin flame journey and being a twin flame teacher, I can tell you that in twin flame journey, if you are twin flames and you're dealing with your counterpart, there is no such thing as runners and chasers switching roles. And I will actually tell you why, because I actually dissected it in my notes here to do the video, and I will actually also do an article on it. And for those that have seen my work, that I actually dissected in every way. The reason why I say that twin flames do not switch roles is because it's part of the soul agreement or the soul plan. It was meant to be the way it is. And I will go over, of course, all of that in this video, because I have lots of notes. But again, one more thing that I want to mention before I actually dive into this topic, is that there are no stages of twin flame journey. I know that some people have wrote fancy articles on twin flame journey and their stages. I don't feel that there is one, because everybody's journey is very, very different from the other. So if you're looking for stages, there are no stages. It all depends on your soul agreement. And it is not ego driven there. Before you and your twin flame incarnated, you wanted it to be scripted in a very precise way. And it is very individualized. It's not the journey from 1 to 10 phase and boom, then you'll have your reunion. You don't know the end result, and nobody does. So that's why I say that there are no stages of twin flame journey. There are no such thing as twin flames switching roles. But there are some aspects of what I'm going to explain to you, and hopefully this will make sense by the end of the video. So just stay tuned and do not just switch it off. I will explain it to you why I say that. And now that we've got that out of the way, I also want to say that part of the biggest soul agreement, and I've actually written an article on this, is that twin flames chose that dynamic for a reason. There has to be in order for a twin flame journey to be successful the way that it's supposed to be in terms of your soul alchemy, there has to obviously be a runner and a chaser. And the person that's running will dangle a very, very you almost want to say like a juicy carrot or a juicy bait, so that the chaser is doing what they are supposed to do as part of their soul agreement and their soul plan. And it sounds exactly what it is. There are some spiritual aspects of the runner and chaser, but it basically sounds exactly how you perceive it to be. And I'm going to go into that as well. So we'll go into what a runner or a chaser is. I'm just looking through my notes here, so bear with me. So chaser is typically the divine feminine, and they are the ones, and that is not definitely any gender specific. It's based on, again, your soul agreement, that that's what you decided to have as your, between the couple. Doesn't matter if you're same sex or what. One person would have a little bit of more a feminine aspect of them, and then the other one would be the masculine, right? So and that's just the way that most couples are. It doesn't matter if you are same sex or not, between the two. So the chaser is usually the divine feminine, and in physical reality, what they do as a chaser is, and this will resonate to people that are viewing this, it doesn't matter whether you're a divine masculine watching this or a divine feminine, it doesn't matter. You would be, as a chaser, you would be texting or trying to call your twin flame a lot. So that's energetically chasing, physically chasing. You will be following them on social media or spying on them, especially if they've actually sort of ghosted you, or if they've run away. And it is basically, like I said, it sounds, you would be doing, you will be seeking for answers via twin flame readings, whether it's personal or just in general. You'll be looking through those. So, and you also would be trying to heal in order to be with your twin flame, because you somewhere you have come across that if you're healing and you're looking after yourself, your twin flame will return to you. So that's the gist of what a chaser's energy is. And this is definitely fear driven, which is ego based, because the fear is that you do not want to lose connection with your twin flame. The fear is to you don't want somebody else to be with your twin flame, and the fear is that you will lose them permanently. So this is why you are doing all these things. And I don't know any twin flame that has not done that, including me. I have had, it's like I said, I teach what I know and what I have experienced. So this is the basic energy of a chaser. So you decide which one you are, and please do comment on the description and just let me know what do you think of this video, if this actually resonated or not, because I think that it's supposed to resonate to a lot of you, so it would make sense. And then of course now we have the runner. The runner is usually divine masculine, and they too have their issues, and I'll tell you what they are. They usually are ghosting you, or they have blocked you. If you are in a physical relationship with them, they have they go hot and cold. 1 minute they are all lovey-dovey, and then next minute they are just pulling off energetically, and they don't want to, they want their space, that kind of stuff. And then divine feminine's like, well, what did I do to you? What happened here? Why are you running away from me? Even if it's not in physical reality, that's how they feel. So I mentioned about the pulling away from the connection, and this applies to people that are in communication and not in communication. It doesn't matter. Both ways, that's what they're doing. And the biggest thing that majority of the divine feminines feel, and this is true, is that the divine masculines, the runner, is in denial of their feelings towards the divine feminine. This is very, very true, and 100% true, because the whole reason why they are doing all this is because they don't want to acknowledge the connection. They don't want to acknowledge that the divine feminine has that effect on them. They don't want to, they're very guarded. They don't want to be falling in love with them. It's too late, they already have, but of course they're going to be in denial for that. So this is sort of the chaser's energy, and it is definitely ego driven as well. It's very ego based, because the number one reason why they behave this way is because they do not want to get hurt. So they're afraid to let go and just allow whatever they're feeling to just go with the flow, and just allow everything to unfold naturally, because they just want to, at this point, not be hurt, or they're afraid to be hurt, because they know that if they get hurt, then it's really hard for them to recover from this. So it's sort of that dynamics, if this makes sense. I hope, I think it does, because that's everybody's story here. So we talked about what those two are, and now we're going to talk about as people advance in their journey, what happens. And like I said, these are not any particular order of stages. I don't consider any stages in anything any stage, but that seems to be, in this case, this is sort of the explanation in the beginning part of your connection, so you sort of know this is what it is, and after that you start to go through your soul awakening and reflection. Even the divine masculines will do the same thing. They will go through their soul searching, their answers, their reflection, and a lot of times a dark night of the soul happens where you're, this is why you're looking for answers, because you've already met each other, and that was a bubble up phase where you figured out the connection, you got the awakening, and that, and then something happens. Either one pulls away, or you don't pull away, but there's issues with the relationship aspect, and then after that both of you will go at some point into your spiritual aspect of the soul plan. That's what I call it. And in this case, the chaser, what they do is they start to focus on their soul lessons, what the journey is trying to teach them, and they start to focus on their spirituality. They figure out their guides and their ascended masters, that sort of thing. They start to connect with people that are in the similar journey. They start to look for teachers like me to explain whatever is happening to them, whether this is not just in something that's happening in their physical being, or physical reality, or just a figment of their imagination. They're trying to find answers in that sense. So part of that is, of course, to figure out what's happening to them, and then of course the soul lessons that it's supposed to provide. So they look at that aspect, and then once they figure out that aspect, when they advance a little bit more into their journey, they start thinking about their life purpose and mission work. So that's very common during that phase, when they start thinking about all of that stuff. And then in the more advanced part would be they start to heal. And one of the, if you don't know what type of healings are good for you, and that's not trying to be with your twin flame, with fancy healings and all that sort of thing that some of the people teach in the industry. There would be healings that are deeper, that will help them better their life. Would be past life trauma, inner child, and then of course anything to do with law of attraction. So those are the big type of healings that like 3 main healings at least, I think, that will steer them into the right direction. Once you start doing those things, then you really start to navigate a little bit better into your journey. And then of course there's other aspects of the healing, that could be ancestral healing and other type of traumas and stuff like that that show up. So and as you go into your healing, you'll know what that is. A lot of times, because this is of course a relationship or a connection that is completely on a spiritual level, during the main part of the healing, when the divine feminine goes and invests her time, or their time, I should say, I shouldn't say gender specific, a lot of times the counterpart, their twin flame, will join them in their healing sessions. And the reason why they do that is because they are also healing with them. So, and because you both are an energetic replica of a blueprint between you and them, they feel everything, or they get the benefits of what you are working towards as well. So that's sort of that, similarity, that mirror effect that also will steer or navigate the journey further. What does the runner do during that time? Usually the runners, they focus on their career, their business. They start to get awakened to the journey and the connection. They start to basically soul search for answers as well. They're doing the same thing. At some point they do. And they're trying to figure out what they want out of their life. And, this is sort of their downtime, or during that downtime, that's what they're trying to do. So that's, in a nutshell, what actually happens in that whole scenario. And nowhere here do they switch roles. What does happen, and I think this is one of the things that divine feminines, they get really confused between the physical reality of what's happening versus the spiritual reality. Why I say that there's a difference between that is the divine feminines will often complain, or not even complain, I won't even say that, but sometimes they do, because they're so fed up of this whole situation that they don't know. In physical reality, of course, their twin flame is not acknowledging any of this stuff, or they're running away from the connection, they're blocking them, that kind of thing. But in other spiritual reality, they are constantly with them, and they constantly feel their energy 24/7. 24/7, doesn't matter if they're sleeping or awake. and that part is completely real. You almost want to say that the DM, the divine masculine, is constantly in your mind and in your senses, and they come and visit you in the dream. Then they are also telepathically communicating with you. So you almost, and a lot of divine feminines do feel that they're being chased, right? They are trying to run away. The divine feminines are trying to run away from this aspect, just this aspect, not the physical reality that I mentioned earlier. The dreams, the telepathy, the constant chatter in their head, the communications they're going to have with their divine masculine, that constant 24-hour, they're thinking about about them, and just all that kind of stuff. So I think that that's where a lot of confusion is, because they're definitely chasing you, and you as a watcher, excuse me, you are running away from that aspect because you're tired. You know, you want to run away from all of that, because you know in your mind that that's not real. You know that well, in a way it is real, but it's not, because in physical reality they don't want to have anything to do with you. And then in spiritual reality, you know, they're chasing you like there's nobody's business. So, and a lot of divine feminines, they feel, well, I need to focus on my life. I need to focus on my soul lessons. I need to focus on my healing. Excuse me. Got like a tickle in my throat, throat chakra. So stuff like that. And I feel that this is where it gets complicated, because you as a divine feminine, or divine feminines, they prefer the real communication, the real relationship, the real this. And of course, you know, that's not what is happening. It's all on the spiritual level. So that's where the gist of the chasing and the runner and chaser switching roles is. In physical reality, definitely they don't switch roles, but on a spiritual reality you do switch roles. So, and I know that nobody has explained it this way, and that's why it took me this long to video it and give you guys some answers. And do they ever switch roles on the spiritual aspect? Not really. I don't think that if you are facing some sort of separation, I don't feel that you will have that role switched where you will be chasing them on a spiritual level and they would be running away. Or if in physical reality they will come chasing you and you're going to be running away. So there's a big difference between the two, and it was designed this way, and your higher selves actually really, really scripted it to perfection. And the reason why they did this is so that you both can you know, get some sort of triggers, and the triggers are meant to happen so that in your own specific way you are doing your healing and figuring out what's the next step. So a lot of times, you know, it's a false misconception as well that if the roles are switched, then there is going to be a physical union. It couldn't, you know, I don't know if anybody has experienced that. You'll have to let me know in the comment. But I haven't heard of it. When the chasing stops is when there's, of course, a bigger leap in your journey and in your connection. So there is a phase where the runner, the divine masculine, will stop running. That is correct, because as an energetic mirror of you, they know energetically when you start to focus on your life and you focus on your journey, that kind of stuff, and you know, you're not constantly attached to the outcome. And that's, again, this is why I say law of attraction, because that's the basic principles of law of attraction, and you can read up all of that in my blog. But basically, that aspect, if they feel that their counterpart has pulled away their energy, and now they are you know, focusing on their life and just not attached to an outcome, they do stop running. That is true. But that's something that they will have to energetically feel. It's not something that you are claiming, and it's not the case. They know you cannot lie to your twin flame, and I've always said that in my articles and even in my teachings here on YouTube. It's you just have to go with the flow, and there are no right or wrong way of doing it, of anything. It's, you know, and this is why I say there's no stages of twin flame journey, because you are meant to experience certain soul lessons and certain stages that are not preordained stages. They are just stages as you go, as you advance on a soul level. So and they were scripted that way so that you get the most out of the journey and the connection. So I don't feel that if you're focused on your healing and your journey and just your life lessons, your soul growth, you have anything to worry about when it comes to you being called a chaser. Embrace the chaser name, I should say, or the label. Embrace it, because that's and be proud of it, because if you were not the chaser, then you wouldn't be going through all that transformation the way that you are. So it's part of the journey, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. I know that in the beginning stages of my journey, that was something that I thought was like a taboo thing, to be a chaser, and you know, not to be doing that, or it's frowned upon. But you know, now fast forward five plus more years, I embrace the fact that I'm a chaser. So it's you know, I'm not ashamed of it, and you shouldn't either. Embrace that, because when you are a chaser, you advance so much more in your journey in that way, spiritually. So and there's nothing that there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to embrace it. And of course, the runner, you know, if any of the runners are watching here, divine masculines, that's okay to be a runner, because that's what was supposed to happen. You know, you chose it before you incarnated, and you scripted it with your divine feminine. So there is nothing wrong with that, and you shouldn't feel bad about doing that either, because if you didn't run and stay on course with your end of the bargain, then the divine feminine wouldn't have been able to be where they are at this point in their journey. And you know, if the love between them were not as intense as it is, you know, the divine masculine, of course, loves you so much that they actually ended up staying very true to their contract. And you know, you should look at it this way, on a soul level. And for those that are, of course, you know, that much advanced, or in, you know, have healed and seen the bigger picture, you will agree that this was the best gift that they could have given you, was to run away from the connection. I also want to add that for divine masculines, they also do not know why they actually are running from the connection. Of course, all of this stuff is on a subconscious level, even the divine feminine's chasing, unless you became a little bit more knowledgeable on the journey and you figured out your answers why you actually do this. You are, of course, doing it on a subconscious level. So and while the divine masculine is running, they're not enjoying the aspect of running. They don't understand it either, because they have that intense connection with their divine feminine. They know it, they feel it as well, but they can't help themselves but to run. And it's designed this way in order for the spiritual aspect of it to bloom the way that it's supposed to between the two. So yeah, I do feel that it's something that has to end naturally on its own course. You can't force it. You can't say today that I am going to stop chasing them and that's it. I'm done with it. I know that there are phases for divine feminines where they feel, okay, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna be chasing my divine masculine anymore. I'm gonna focus on my life, my goals, and this and that, and they do, for some part. After a month or two, or a few months, then they go back to chasing them again, energetically, and just getting readings done, or just looking them up on social media, or trying to spy on them, or whatever. And there's a reason for that too, because now you're going into another leap of another area of your journey. You're advancing into another part of your journey, and this whole triggers are supposed to make you go into another layer of deeper wounding, and and that's why I say embrace it. Not to be ashamed of the fact that you are a chaser, because if you're not a chaser, then you're not going to be. If you're not embracing that aspect of being a chaser, you're not going to be healing all that much, right? You're just going to be sitting there blaming your divine masculine running away and not coming to you, kind of thing. So in a very nutshell, that's the easiest way that I can break it down for you guys. And I do want to say that the divine masculine will not stop chasing you energetically as well, because they're supposed to keep you interested in them in some way. And the whole thing is designed to perfection, and I don't know who designed this. I want to say between your higher selves, definitely, because they are the higher version of you, so they know exactly how to lay out all the crumbs, if you want to call it, right? So yeah, they have scripted it to that aspect, because it's meant to get you guys to stay interested in each other in some way. How does the divine masculine remain connected to the runner aspect? So if the divine masculine is chasing you in the dreams spiritually, the divine feminine is pulling away from that aspect, and they can feel it. And I know it sounds a little bit more complicated. Like, think about it for a second. If you are going about in your day-to-day activities, and your divine masculine is chasing you through dreams, telepathy, them being constantly in your minds, how does that reverse on the role? I don't think that it almost does, because I think that's where the similarity is on that aspect, because whatever you are experiencing, they're experiencing the same thing, and they're looking at it the same way. They know that you are triggered by that all, and you don't want it. Like, especially if some of you have been fighting, you don't want to be thinking about them, or you don't want them to be coming in your dreams, or you don't want to be in telepathic communication with them. They feel it, but they feel it, but yet they will still pursue it, on a spiritual level. So I know it sounds really confusing when I say it like that, but it's true that they, like I said, they feel everything. And whatever stage you are in your twin flame journey, whether you are trying to focus on your life, or you're focusing on your healing, or you're just, you know, obsessed with them, each stage of your connection with them, they can feel it. They even know if you're resisting the telepathy, the dreams, or you know, their thoughts in your mind. They will feel all of that, because sometimes that's what happens. Life happens, and the divine feminine is just so focused on other things that they pull away. And I'll give you a little example here why I say that. Like in this month and a half, with a lot of recent tragics that I am going through, not only did I lose my cat, I'm also dealing with one of my friend and her husband passing away. In fact, as I'm filming this video, this would be probably in the next 24 hours he would pass away. It's been very gruesome. He's been at stage 4 cancer, and it's now his organs have started shutting down, and I had to be there for her during that time while I'm dealing with my own grief. So I haven't had time during this time to focus on my twin flame energetically, but or just think about it. Even I didn't even have time, because I've just been so focused on other things that's where I am in my journey, and I felt that he felt it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, that you, depending on where you are in your life and stuff like that, they will feel all that sort of thing. And I know 100% that he felt me pulling off, just so that I can focus on the things that are at my plate at this point, versus, you know, fantasizing about him as a chaser. And yeah, I felt that shift, even in my own connection, because of all these things that are happening. So yeah, just take it as this. I mean, it is a little bit confusing the way that I explained it. Hopefully it didn't confuse you guys too much, but stay tuned to the article. I will definitely put it better in an article versus talking it here sometimes, or maybe even both, I don't know. Sometimes it's helpful to even look at the video and then read the article, or the other way around. So I do it both ways, see how it helps. It's meant to help you guys and not to confuse you more. But definitely the question that I got was that, can runner and chaser reverse roles? The way that I perceive it, as I know it, definitely on a physical reality, never will happen. On a spiritual reality, definitely it does. And those are the two big difference. But of course, nobody will explain it to you that way. Everybody just tells you in a sentence or two, and you're thinking, how the heck is this possible? So and again, it was part of the soul agreement between you and your twin flame. So if you think about it on the level that I've explained it, you may have to rewatch this video a couple of times, take some notes, and just reflect on why I said what I said. You will know that I'm right, because it should resonate when, you know, as you advance further, or if you think more and you reflect more on your entire journey, you will see the signs were always there and the answers were there. So yeah, with that, this was Twin Flame Union. Hopefully I didn't confuse you guys too much. Will twin flames reverse roles when it comes to chases and being a runner? Not really. And yeah, if somebody is telling you otherwise, you may want to ask those questions, why they are saying that, because these were my reasons. And I unless, you know, the journey reveals something otherwise, I haven't seen it again with any other twin flames that could explain it any better than this anyway. I haven't seen it within my clients. I haven't seen it within the community. So that's why I say very confidently that it's you got the labels because you were meant to have those labels, and embrace it. It is what it is. It's you know, you couldn't have gone wrong anyways. I mean, if you think about your entire journey, you know, especially if you've advanced all that much, you know, what part do you regret, being the runner or the chaser? You'll have to tell me in the comments, and stay blessed. This was Twin Flame Union.